When most people hear the words Oak Harbor, Washington, one thing immediately comes to mind: the Navy. And that's completely understandable. Oak Harbor is home to Naval Air Station Whidbey Island, one of the most important naval aviation bases in the country. Every year, thousands of military families receive orders here, pack up their lives, and begin a brand new chapter on Whidbey Island. But there's something that surprises almost everyone. A lot of those families never leave. What was supposed to be a 3-year assignment becomes a 10-year, then the place they call home. So why? What is it about Oak Harbor that convinces so many people to stay? Is it the community, the waterfront, the slower pace of life, the outdoor recreation, or is there something more? If you're researching a PCS move to NAS Whidbey, considering buying a home with a VA loan, retiring from the military, or simply wondering if Oak Harbor might be the right place for your family, you've come to the right video. Hi everyone, I'm Kelli Lang with Team Kelli Lang at REMAX Gateway, and my team helps people relocate throughout Skagit County and Island County every single year. My goal today isn't just to show you the city, it's to answer the questions you've probably already been asking. What is it actually like to live here? And most importantly, would I recommend moving here? So today I want to give you an honest look at Oak Harbor, not just from a perspective of a real estate agent, but from someone who spends a lot of time helping people discover whether this community truly fits their lifestyle they're looking for. Let's dive in. Oak Harbor sits on the northern end of beautiful Whidbey Island and is home to roughly 25,000 residents. It's the largest city on the island, yet it never feels overwhelming. Instead, it feels like community.
Hi, I'm Sabrina Combs. I'm the city administrator for the city of Oak Harbor. So I would say that Oak Harbor is a growing city, but with a small town spirit. One of the things that makes it great is you can get to know your neighbors. We are welcoming to everybody. And also, I think the thing that makes us different is that we are home to Naval Air Station Whidbey Island. So we have military community, but unlike in some communities with naval bases or military facilities where large groups of people leave and come back, we have a lot of people here who stay, a lot of people who will leave because they have another deployment, and then they decide to come back here and open a business or stay for the rest of their lives.
For many people from larger cities, that's one of the biggest adjustments in the best possible way. Unlike larger metropolitan areas where a simple errand can turn into an hour in traffic, most daily destinations here are only a short drive away. That convenience becomes something you really appreciate after you've lived here a while. Now let's talk about location. Because this is one of the Oak Harbor's greatest strengths, from here you're less than 20 minutes from one of Washington's most famous destinations, Deception Pass Park. Mount Vernon and Burlington are close enough for additional shopping and services, and if you're stationed at NAS Whidbey, your commute may only be a matter of minutes depending on where you choose to live. That balance between convenience and natural beauty is something that's difficult to find elsewhere in Western Washington. And speaking of convenience, let's answer one of the biggest questions we hear from military families. What is it actually like to PCS to Oak Harbor? If you've recently received permanent change of station orders, you're probably juggling a dozen different decisions all at once. One thing I always tell buyers is this: don't just think about where you'll live while you're stationed here. Think about where you'll enjoy living, because there's a good chance Oak Harbor will surprise you. Of course, there is one question that almost every military family asks before they move here. Actually, it's probably the very first question. How loud are the jets? If you're moving to Oak Harbor because of PCS orders to NAS Whidbey Island, you've searched this question online dozens of times. And the honest answer is, it depends. Different parts of Oak Harbor experience different levels of aircraft activity depending on the flight path, training schedule, weather conditions, and where you're standing. Some neighborhoods hear the growlers more frequently than others. Some areas are surprisingly quiet. And honestly, it's one of the reasons I always encourage buyers to spend time exploring the neighborhoods they're considering. Or if you're relocating from out of state, schedule a virtual consultation with someone who knows the area well. If you ask longtime residents about the jets, you'll usually hear one of two responses. The first is, I don't even notice them anymore. The second is, I actually like hearing them. That may sound surprising, but for many people, the aircraft are simply part of Oak Harbor's identity and the sound of freedom. There's a reminder of the men and women serving our country and the important mission taking place right here in our community. That's why helping buyers understand the different areas of Oak Harbor is so important. Every neighborhood has a different personality, and finding the right fit is about much more than the house itself. Let's take a tour. If you enjoy being able to walk to restaurants, grab a coffee on a Saturday morning, or spend evenings by the waterfront, the downtown area is a fantastic place to start. Homes here tend to have a little bit more character, mature landscaping, and quick access to Windjammer Park, local businesses, and the marina. It's a lifestyle that's convenient, connected, and full of small-town charm. For buyers looking for a little bit more space, you'll find several residential neighborhoods throughout Oak Harbor that offer quiet streets, sidewalks, neighborhood parks, and homes that are especially popular with military families. Those neighborhoods provide easy access to the schools, grocery stores, shopping, and the base, while still giving you room to spread out. It's one of the reasons Oak Harbor works so well for families. You don't have to sacrifice convenience for peace and quiet. This area has become especially popular with buyers looking for privacy, outdoor recreation, and a little bit more breathing room. And that's really the theme you'll notice throughout Oak Harbor. No matter where you live, you're never very far from nature. Now let's talk about one of the biggest questions military families ask during a relocation. Should you rent or should you buy? The question depends on your situation, but here's the advice we generally give. If you know you'll only be here for a very short assignment, renting may make sense depending on the current market and your long-term plans. But if there's a possibility you'll remain here for several years or even retire after your service, it might be worth exploring homeownership, especially if you're eligible for your VA. We've worked with many buyers who intentionally plan to rent, only to discover that purchasing a home better aligned with their financial goals and future plans. Every situation is different, which is why we recommend sitting down and discussing your timeline, your budget, your long-term goals before making that decision. One thing I always encourage military families to think about is the life beyond the base. Where will your kids play? Where will your dog walk? Where will you grab coffee on a Saturday morning? Where do you picture spending a summer evening? Those questions are just as important as commute time, because eventually Oak Harbor stops feeling like your duty station, it starts feeling like your hometown, and that's exactly what happened for thousands of military families over the years.
So when I've talked to people about that, I found that they really enjoyed the atmosphere and the community here. Oak Harbor has a great small town business area that's supported by our community members. It's also a lovely place to live. One of the things I tell people is my favorite thing is that when I'm driving to work or running errands, I get to see the ocean. It's very few places in the world that you get to enjoy that sea view everywhere you go. And I've lived in other places. I also would say it's the people here. People are involved. There's an artistic community. There's just a lot of things that make this place special. We are continuing to work to build a community that supports our Naval folks. So when those families come and they're looking for a place to be, we've heard in our meetings with the Pentagon or with the commander of the base that what people are really looking for is a place where they can get involved, be in community. So we have great schools. Oak Harbor School District is wonderful. They have great programs for our kids. Our Parks and Recreation program has expanded to include programs that support them. And we've even had, after recent conversations about programs and the limitations in being able to open daycare centers, we've worked to revise those policies so that we could make more available spaces for daycare. So if you look around the city in the last couple of years, we've opened more than 6 daycare centers, one of them even being a bilingual nature academy. So they actually do bilingual language services, and they also have daycare drop-off for that and at different times in the week. And then they go out in the community and visit our local parks. So, I mean, those are the things that make it special.
One of the biggest misconceptions about Oak Harbor is that everything revolves around the Navy. While NAS Whidbey Island is certainly an important part of this community, it's far from the whole story. Ask longtime residents why they stayed after retirement or why they chose to settle here, and you'll hear a very different answer. They'll talk about the lifestyle. Because once the workday is over, Oak Harbor becomes one of the best places in Washington to enjoy everything the Pacific Northwest has to offer. Let's start with one of my favorite places in town, Windjammer Park. It used to be called City Beach. If there was one place I could recommend to someone who's visiting Oak Harbor for the first time, this would probably be it. The park stretches right along the waterfront, and it really captures what everyday life is like here. You'll see families spread out on picnic blankets while kids race around the playground. People walk their dogs along the paved trail. It isn't just a beautiful park. It's where the community comes together. Throughout the year, Windjammer Park hosts concerts, festivals, holiday celebrations, and community events that bring people from every corner of Oak Harbor together. It's one of those places where you quickly realize that it isn't just somewhere people live. It's somewhere people genuinely enjoy being. One of the greatest advantages of living here is that the adventure doesn't require a long road trip. It's often less than 15 minutes away. Take Deception Pass Park, for example. People travel from all over the world to visit this incredible place, yet for Oak Harbor residents, it's practically in their backyard. Whether you're hiking forest trails, walking across the iconic bridge, launching a kayak, photographing bald eagles, or simply taking in the views, it's a place you'll come back to again and again. Whether you're looking for a quiet evening walk, a place to launch a paddleboard, cast a fishing line, or simply sit on a driftwood log and watch the sunset, you'll find countless opportunities to enjoy the water. It's one of those little luxuries that gradually becomes part of your routine. Now let's talk about the food. One of the best ways to get to know a community is by eating where the locals eat. Oak Harbor has a great mix of longtime favorites and newer restaurants, many of them locally owned and deeply connected to the community. Whether you're in the mood for fresh seafood, Thai food, barbecue, maybe a classic burger, or a great cup of coffee, there's no shortage of places to discover. The same goes for the shopping. Instead of relying entirely on big box stores, Oak Harbor has a growing collection of locally owned boutiques, bookstores, gift shops, and specialty businesses that give downtown its personality. When you support these businesses, you're supporting people who live here, raise their families here, and care deeply about the community. That local pride is something you'll notice almost immediately. Now, one thing I always encourage buyers to remember is this: moving somewhere new isn't just about finding the right house, it's about finding the right rhythm of life. Can you picture yourself spending an evening watching the sunset over the water? Can you imagine your kids growing up with the beaches, parks, and hiking trails just minutes from home? Would you rather spend your weekends sitting in traffic or exploring one of the most beautiful islands in Washington? Those are the questions that matter. And for a lot of people, Oak Harbor answers them in exactly this right way. But there's one more thing we haven't talked about. It's something that every buyer should understand before making a move here. It's not about the scenery, it's not about the parks, and it's not even about the Navy. It's about the people. So let's go back to the question we asked at the very beginning of the video. Why do so many people come to Oak Harbor planning to stay for just a few years and end up calling it home? I think it's because Oak Harbor gives people something that's becoming harder and harder to find. It gives them a genuine sense of belonging. This is a community where military families, retirees, young professionals, and lifelong island residents all live side by side. Now, if you're watching this because you've received PCS orders to NAS Whidbey Island, I'd love to speak directly to you for a moment. I know that military moves come with a lot of uncertainty. You're coordinating orders, timelines, schools, housing, travel, and trying to make good decisions for your family, often in a place you've never visited. It can feel overwhelming. One of the things I've learned from helping military families relocate is that the home itself is only part of the equation. You also need someone who can help you understand the neighborhoods, explain the local market, coordinate virtual tours if you're still out of state, and guide you through a timeline that works with military life. That's where having a local team really matters. Every PCS is a little different. Some families have weeks to spare, others have months, some are buying before they arrive, others need temporary housing while they get to know the area. No matter where you're starting from, our goal is to make the transition feel a little less stressful and a lot more exciting. And if you're planning to use a VA loan, you're in good company. VA loans continue to be one of the strongest pathways to homeownership for eligible service members and veterans. Understanding how VA financing works, preparing your documentation early, and working with professionals who are familiar with the military timelines can make the buying process much smoother. We regularly help connect buyers with trusted local lenders and other professionals who understand the unique needs of military families. While every financial situation is different, having the right team around you can make a real difference. Now, maybe you're not military at all. Maybe you're just simply looking for a place where life feels a little slower, a little more connected, a little more outdoors. Oak Harbor has become increasingly popular with retirees, remote workers, healthcare professionals, and anyone looking to trade long commutes for waterfront sunsets and weekend adventures. It offers something that's becoming increasingly valuable: time. Time spent outside, time with your family, time exploring, time enjoying where you actually live. That's one of the reasons we enjoy helping people move here so much. We're not just opening doors to homes, we're introducing people to a completely different way of life. Oak Harbor isn't trying to compete with Seattle, It isn't trying to be Bellevue. It has created its own identity, one built around community, service, natural beauty, and an incredible quality of life. If you're thinking about making a move to Oak Harbor, Whidbey Island, or anywhere in Island or Skagit County, we'd love to help. At Team Kelli Lang, we don't believe real estate starts with showing homes. We'll help you compare neighborhoods, explain the local market, connect you with trusted professionals, and answer the questions that matter most to you. Whether that's commuting to NAS Whidbey Island, understanding the home buying process, or finding a neighborhood that fits your lifestyle. If you're relocating from another state and can't make it here right away, we can also schedule virtual consultations, video home tours to help you begin your search before you arrive. If you found this guide helpful, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the Team Kelli Lang YouTube channel. Every week, we're sharing in-depth community tours, neighborhood guides, local market updates, and relocation advice designed to help you make informed decisions about living in Northwest Washington. If there's another community you'd like us to explore, let us know in the comments below. We read every comment, and your suggestions may inspire our next video. You'll also find links to the descriptions to browse current homes for sale, learn more about the Oak Harbor real estate market, and connect directly with our team. Thank you so much for spending the day with us here in Oak Harbor. I'm Kelli Lang with Team Kelli Lang at REMAX Gateway. We look forward to helping you find not just the right house, but the right place to call home. We'll see you in the next video.